All right, let's talk about Bitcoin, because right now it is at a massive crossroads. After an incredible run-up, the price has taken a serious nosedive, and frankly, the entire crypto world is holding its breath. So, is this just a healthy correction, or are we staring into the abyss of another long, cold crypto winter? Let's break it down.
I'm sure you've seen it. The headlines are everywhere. The market anxiety is palpable. And that phrase, crypto winter, is being thrown around again, bringing back some pretty scary memories of those brutal, extended bear markets we've seen in the past.
And the numbers? Wow, they are staggering. We're talking about a 40% drop from the recent peak. To put that in perspective, that's hundreds of billions of dollars in value that has just been wiped off the market. This is not a small blip. It's a major event that has even the most seasoned crypto veterans on edge. So this is the big question, right? Is this just the ghost of crypto winters past, where we saw crashes hit 80%? Or has the market fundamentally changed? Is history just repeating itself, or are we actually in a totally new era for digital assets?
So let's start with the hard numbers. Let's push past the noise and see what the data is actually telling us about just how severe this downturn is. The price has absolutely crashed below a really key psychological level, $67,000. I mean, the last time we saw prices this low was way back in late 2024. That is a significant amount of ground to lose, and it's making a lot of people very, very nervous.
And look, this isn't just a flash crash or one bad day. You can see the trend here. Whether you zoom in on the last week, the last month, or even the last year, the story is exactly the same, just persistent, relentless selling pressure. Okay, so this naturally leads us to the big fear that's gripping the market right now. Let's look at the case for a much, much deeper crash, the argument that history is, in fact, repeating itself.
You know, for anyone who's been in crypto for a while, this whole situation feels, well, uncomfortably familiar. It brings to mind Bitcoin's historic 4-year cycle, this pattern of these massive, euphoric booms, followed by these just brutal, drawn-out busts that have really defined its past.
And it's not just a feeling. The technical indicators, they are flashing bright red across the board. Major platforms like TradingView and Investec are signaling a strong sell, and not just for the short term, but over the medium term as well. That points to a really deep-seated pessimism among traders who are looking at nothing but the charts.
And this lines up with what some analysts are saying. Jim Bianco put it pretty bluntly, saying that a key driver of the last bull run, that whole wave of mainstream adoption, has stalled out. The argument is simple. Without a new, compelling story to attract fresh capital, the market is just going to struggle to find a bottom. Okay, but this is the chart that really has the bulls worried. That institutional money, the money that was supposed to be the bedrock of this new, mature Bitcoin market, well, it's heading for the exits. We are talking billions of dollars flowing out of Bitcoin ETFs. That is a crystal clear sign that the big players are getting nervous. But hold on. There's a powerful counter-argument gaining a lot of traction, that the very structure of the Bitcoin market has changed, making a repeat of those catastrophic 80% crashes far less likely. And this quote from K33 Research really gets to the heart of the bullish case. The argument is that comparing today's market to past crypto winters is just a flawed analogy, because the market's foundation is fundamentally stronger and way more mature. So how is it different? Well, think about past crashes. They were triggered by these shocking, systemic collapses of huge industry players like FTX or Terra Luna. This downturn hasn't seen that same kind of domino effect failure. We're not seeing the same kind of forced, indiscriminate panic selling across the entire industry.
The real game changer here, according to this argument, is the arrival of those regulated Bitcoin ETFs. Now, this isn't just about making it easier for people to buy Bitcoin, it's about bringing in a whole new class of investor, pension funds, endowments, the kind of long-term, stable capital that doesn't get spooked by every bit of volatility.
Okay, so if it's not a total systemic collapse like in the past, then what did cause this particular sell-off? Let's break down the chain reaction that actually got us here.
It seems to have been a bit of a perfect storm. It all started with a broader shift in the market, a general risk-off mood. And right now, crypto is trading just like a high-risk tech stock. So when the market gets nervous, crypto gets sold. But what turned a dip into a dive was a massive deleveraging event. Put simply, a lot of traders had borrowed money to bet on higher prices. When the price started to fall, they were forced to sell, creating a nasty downward spiral.
And that deleveraging we just talked about? This number shows you just how violent it was. Over $1.7 billion in borrowed bets on higher prices were just wiped out. That is a massive amount of forced selling, and it's what turned a normal sell-off into a full-blown crash.
What this really tells us is that, for now, Bitcoin is behaving more like a high-risk tech stock than some kind of independent, safe haven asset. When broader markets get nervous and sell off tech, Bitcoin is getting sold off right there alongside it.
So, where do we go from here? With these two completely different stories playing out, what are the actual signals we should be watching that will tell us whether the bulls or the bears are right?
Here are the 4 big things I'm keeping my eyes on. First, the technicals. Can Bitcoin hold these key support levels? Second, the ETF flows. Will the big money start to see this as a buying opportunity and come back in? Third, the stock market. As long as crypto's tied to tech, we need to see a broader market recovery. And finally, the story. Can the crypto world come up with a new, compelling narrative to get people excited again?
And so all of this leaves us with one fundamental, kind of provocative question. Is Bitcoin finally growing up, maturing into a real financial asset? Or is it just learning new, more sophisticated ways to crash? The next few months are going to be a crucial test, and the outcome will have huge implications for the future of crypto.